Video is really for people that have PPPV, which is, I'm going to read it, persistent postural-perceptual dizziness. Okay. And the reason I'm making this video is because this has been the ongoing dilemma that I've had to deal with on a daily basis. So after I had my brain surgery and I went through the whole shenanigans, the problem was I couldn't move my head left or right or look up or down because the surgery was in the cerebellum and it made me very dizzy to do so. So I avoided doing everything because if I didn't, I'd be throwing up and being miserable. So I would walk just holding my head really still. And what happens is when you do this for a long period of time, part of the brain, it's the filter, just calls it quits and it shuts down. And you develop PPPV, which is what I've developed. And what that means is that the brain does not have a filter. And this is a really good spiritual lesson for us, and I'm going to get to it. But the brain does not have a filter. And that means that, like if I were to go to a store, a grocery store, it's not like when you just go to the grocery store and you go buy what you want to buy and you leave, right? When I go, it's not the same thing. Just getting there is a whole ordeal in the first place with my brain, but I'm so much better than I was before. But what happens is when I go, I walk into the store and my brain is like on overload because I see everything through my eyes. So I sometimes get visual migraines, which is not fun. But I go and I can hear not just the music, but the people talking, the children screaming, if they are, the wheels on the shopping cart. I can see not just the orange juice at the end of the aisle, I can see the cereal and the wine and whatever is there. I can see people like they're just passing me everywhere. It's all everywhere. It's like being in Times Square 1,000%, and it's coming into my mind and I just can't take it. And then I start feeling dizzy and nauseous. And you feel like your feet are floating. So you don't really know where you are. So I take my cane with me because it offers me that stability. But it's really, really hard to live with because too much stimulation throws me just for a loop. Even at home, if I speak with one person or maybe two people, I'm okay. But if you get a whole bunch of people in a room, it's just too much. But I get sick. So nauseous and dizzy and incredibly tired. So if you have PPPV, what my doctor said I have to do, and boy, did I get a talking to because I wasn't doing it, you have to pace yourself and you cannot cross your threshold. So if you're feeling good one day, that doesn't mean you can go do more than you normally do. It means, oh, okay, I'm feeling good, and I have to remember that I need to chill my chops and do what I do, feel good about it, and then stop. And it's a really hard thing to deal with. The other thing, which I found really interesting, is that I didn't realize that, I know there's energy and that we feel energy. I'm very empathic, so I can kind of walk into a room and figure out all kinds of stuff. Or when someone comes to see me, I have an idea who this person is right when they walk in the door. But we all do this without even realizing, we take people's energy on all day long and we're fine. Well, because my brain, the filter doesn't work, what happens is that I get maybe 10 people in a room or a whole shopping center full of people, and all of their energy is bouncing off the walls, and I can't handle it. And it was really interesting for me to learn about this and experience it because I would have never known what was going on. Even at home, if somebody comes in, my husband or my daughter, and they're upset or stressed out, sometimes I have to walk in the other room because it's hard for me to take. So if you do have PPPV, I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to take time because we have to create new ways. Our brain has to create these new, I think it's neural pathways to learn how to take in all of this information, sensory overload. But the only way to do it is to go do your exercises and go out in public. But you have to do it in baby steps because if you don't, you're going to back yourself to where you were and completely not be able to do anything. It's really difficult, especially if you're one of those people that like to get things done. But you have to. And I remember when I first was going through this and I didn't realize what was going on, I would go somewhere and do something like a speaking engagement, which I had no business doing because I had to hold on to the pedestal where I was speaking, the podium, just so I wouldn't fall because I couldn't balance at all. And I was out for like a week, in bed, sick, wanted to cry. It was awful. And it was because I crossed my threshold. So you can't do that. And one of the things I have learned, which I think all of us can learn, and I'm walking the walk, believe me, I've practiced this stuff myself, is my father used to say to me two things. And this is the lesson behind this PPV experience for people who are suffering from it or anybody that's suffering from anything in their lives. I wish our children would grasp this, but of course they're not going to listen because they think they know everything. We all did the same thing. We have to have, my dad would say, Rochelle, patience, patience. And I say to my clients, grasshopper, patience. And you don't really understand what patience is until you really know you're going through it. I can't just say tomorrow I'm going to feel good. And the last 2 days I felt pretty good. Before that, I wanted to make video, but I couldn't. I didn't feel good. But the 2 days I'm good and I'm really grateful. But I have to be patient knowing that, you know what, there's nothing I can do right now. I can take days, I can take the not so hot days and just be patient and know that someday I'm going to be fine because I will. And this means that when things don't go in our lives the way we think they're supposed to, let's say you're losing a relationship and you're miserable. Time, T-I-M-E, time. Time heals. You have to be patient and know that you're going to learn some lessons throughout this process. And if you can't see them now, you will later. But if you can really learn to sit with uncertainty, when I'm going to get better, when I'm going to feel better, when am I going to get that promotion at the job? When is my child going to finally understand how to spell Disneyland or the or at? When is my husband going to finally listen to me? When am I going to lose this weight that I think I need to lose? Patience. My grandmother Cook would say patience is a virtue. But I really understand it now at a level that I would never, ever, ever be able to understand if I hadn't gone through this 3 years, knowing that it could be, I don't know how much longer, a year, 2 years, 6 months, 5 years, we don't know. But I am patient because right now all I'm going to do is look at what's in front of me because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I have no idea. Who knows what's going to happen to our world? Who knows? So I'm just going to be present to now. The other thing I learned from my father, which was huge, is he's 6'2", and I was a little girl, and he'd say, Rochelle, standing over me, slow down. I remember my dad saying this to me all the time. And I know why, because I had these thoughts in my head, and it was like a tornado going out of control. And I say to people, that's where we catastrophize our thoughts. They're like a crazy tornado. I would think so fast, and I'm sure some of you do this, that when I would speak, I couldn't speak because my mind was going faster than my mouth. Well, slow down. Just breathe. And when we slow down, we also become more patient because we're not worried about tomorrow, the next year, the next year, the next year, whenever. We think things are supposed to get better or change. We're in the present moment. Now, what really taught me to slow down was because I would whip around walking, quickly. And my physical therapist said, Rochelle, you need to slow down. You need to walk slowly because your brain does not know that your feet are touching the ground. Your brain filter, everything is disconnected. It doesn't know. We have to retrain your brain to know that your feet on the ground. We have to train your brain to say, okay, I'm sitting in a chair and I'm stable. My brain was completely disconnected from my body. It's much better than it was, but it's, I'm getting better every day. I'm getting better every day. but it's pretty serious. It's this PPV thing. It's very, very serious. You're disconnected from everything. If you're in a car and the car is moving and you see these cars moving around you and all this stuff is going on, you don't know how to handle it, because the thing you're supposedly connected to, the car, you've got to concentrate on that, but then it's moving and you lose that connection. So I had to learn to slow down, which my therapist said to me, which cracked me up, and it just hit me. It was like, there's my dad. And my dad was alive at this time, so I told him the story and he thought it was very funny. And my dad was very wise, very wise. So I had to learn to walk more slowly. And I tell my clients, when you are walking, it's a walking meditation, slow down. When is the last time that you walked slowly, calmly, and soundly, just paying attention to your feet touching the earth, Mother Earth's surface? Even if you're on concrete, there's dirt beneath you. And just breathe. Nothing more, nothing less. That's it. When is the last time that you did that? And I can tell you, if you do that, you're going to slow down your mind. Whenever you get upset, slow down your mind. Take a breath. If you do that, see what I'm doing right now? Your thoughts are going to slow down and you're going to be able to breathe, and you're going to, because your mind is more clear, make better decisions. And sometimes that means, especially in my case, not doing anything. And a lot of people that I work with don't do anything. Nothing you can do. Just accept it. What are you going to do? You could choose to catastrophize your thoughts and go crazy, which is going to create anxiety. Or you could slow down and look at those flowers or that painting on the wall and really pay attention to what you're looking at. Slow down and be patient, because life will unfold exactly the way it should. And you don't have to figure out how it's going to unfold. You don't have to judge it. You don't have to make it right or wrong. It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. In my case, there's nothing I can do about this except practice my teachings and know that I'm doing it, so when I speak to others, I know what I'm talking about, and that I know it can be done because I'm doing it. So if you're even suffering from something else in your life, slow down, just breathe, and be patient. Stop trying to figure out what's going to happen, because then you're not going to be patient, because you're going to be waiting to see when something's supposed to happen and it's not happening fast enough, and there you go. Those thoughts are going on in your head again. It's out of control. So those are two really important things I learned, and thanks to my father. And I hope that they help you. Thank you.